All right, what is going on, guys? It's Darian, and today I want to talk to you about why you have to stop thinking so small and playing small, and why you actually need to start thinking bigger and playing bigger, and how your life actually depends on it. So, if you're somebody who feels like maybe you've been playing too small, maybe you don't even know you're doing it, but you know that you want more, this is for you. So, I want to start with a really quick story about when I first started my online business. I used to do these things called daily lines. And essentially, what I did was I would write out sort of my intentions or my goals as if they already happened every single morning. So, the first one I ever did before I ever landed a client or anything like that was I easily landed my first client. And I would just write that out 10 times every single morning. And, sure enough, over time, I landed my first client. And so, and by the way, this isn't me saying like these affirmations are the reason these things happen. I'm just kind of giving you clarity on what my goals were and why they were very, very small. And of course, landing your first client is a milestone. It's part of the journey. But so after that, I was like, okay, I easily make $3,000 a month, and I would write that every single morning. And then eventually I hit it. And then after the 3K, I went to 5K, and 5K was actually my goal when I first started my business. Was like, if you don't know, I'm a musician as well, so I I kind of want to just create a business where it's like paid all my bills and stuff, and I could focus on making music. And so that was my goal. It was 5K a month. And so after I hit the 3K, I started writing my daily lines for 5K. And then next thing you know, I'm making 5K a month. And once it happened, I was kind of like, huh, like this is it. Like this is was pretty easy to get here, but it was my goal. And so I stayed at 5K a month for almost a year with my consulting business because that was my goal. And so the whole point of that story is to say, like, I was asking for 5K a month, and that's what I got, right? It's kind of obvious and pretty intuitive, but yeah. And I was playing small. I didn't realize it at the time. Of course, creating your own business from scratch and getting up to 5K a month is pretty good. It's pretty like it's a pretty good income in most places in the world. But yeah, that's all I really asked for. So I have another very short story. I don't even know who this is from, and you're gonna see how this all ties into the playing small at the end. But I don't know who the story is from. I don't even know where I heard it, but it goes something like this. There was a guy, and every single morning he'd pray, and he would pray to God. So this isn't a religious thing. Like if you don't, it's a story with it's an allegory, right? So he would pray to God, and he would ask for just enough to get through the day, and he would say, God, please just give me enough to get through today. And so he got through every single day. And when he passed away and he went to heaven and he saw God at the heaven's gates, there was a huge pile of treasure and all this stuff behind the gate. And he asked God, what is that? Like, who's that for? And God said it was for you. But all you ever asked for was enough to get through the day. And so that really, both those stories kind of just bring home the concept of what I'm trying to say about playing small. Like if you ask for just enough, you'll get just enough. If you think small and you think, oh, I can't do this because maybe a teacher called you dumb, or your parents didn't let you do the things you wanted to do, or you failed a lot in your past. Whatever stories you're telling yourself, you got to stop listening to them because they're keeping you small. Like the thinking that you have right now created the life that you have right now. So if you aren't happy with your life right now, you have to change the way you think because chances are you're playing too small. And you might not even know it. You might think you're pushing your boundaries. You might think you've come a long way, and maybe you haven't. Good for you. But you're only going to go as far as your thinking allows you to go. And so when I said at the beginning of the video why your life depends on it, because you don't want to be that person that at the end of your life missed out on all these opportunities. You missed out on, you know, things that were literally there for you to have if you wanted them and you created them. But because you just played small and you only asked for just enough. So this is a really important message I wanted to get across today, because this is something that I struggled with a lot when I was growing up. I didn't grow up very wealthy. A lot of my friends were wealthy. I always kind of, I'm indigenous, so I grew up in sort of like a white town. And so I always kind of stood out, especially in elementary school. There was only like two other kids who were, indigenous. And so I always felt like, something was different about me. Maybe I wasn't meant for more. I don't know, like all of these things, right? And so I've had to do a lot of deprogramming, I guess you could say it, as I've grown up and I started doing business and I started becoming the person I wanted to be. And it all started with my thinking, and I had to start thinking bigger and I had to stop playing small. Like, you're not meant to play small. You're not meant to be small. None of us are. So, yeah, hopefully this resonates with you. If you're in a place in your life right now where you're not where you want to be and you feel like you have been playing small, think bigger, play bigger. You literally have nothing to lose. Like, what do you have to lose by thinking bigger dreams and playing bigger? You have nothing to lose. So, yeah, that's my message for you today. And if you like this type of content and you want to hear more of these little forest talks, yeah, please subscribe and we'll chat soon. Peace.